This is a real 911 call. A woman asking for help. Her voice is shaking. You can hear fear in every breath. Then suddenly, she goes silent. Police thought the call disconnected. They were wrong. Because the silence wasn't an accident, it was the most important part. And what investigators later uncovered proved the caller wasn't the only one listening.
Right before we dive in, just a small ask. If you enjoy this kind of storytelling, subscribe and like the video. It helps me keep creating more for you.
The call came in at 2:17 a.m. Dispatch logs recorded it as routine at first, just another late-night emergency in a country that never truly sleeps. A female caller, breathing fast, voice low. No screaming, no chaos, just fear, controlled enough to be terrifying. 911, what's your emergency? There was a pause, then a whisper. I think someone's in my house. The woman's name was Lauren Bishop, 28 years old, lived alone in a quiet subdivision outside Dayton, Ohio. No criminal history, no history of mental illness, no prior calls to emergency services. The kind of person dispatchers rarely remember until they do. The dispatcher, Karen Doyle, followed protocol. Calm voice, short questions, grounding phrases. Okay, Lauren, I'm here with you. Are you in a safe place right now? Lauren hesitated. I'm in my bedroom. The door's locked. The audio recording captured something subtle then. Not a sound, but the absence of one. Lauren stopped breathing into the phone for a second, like she was listening to something just outside the range of human hearing. Dispatch flagged the call as possible home invasion. Officers were dispatched immediately. Response time? 6 minutes. 6 minutes can feel like nothing, or like forever. Lauren whispered again. I didn't hear a door. I didn't hear glass break. I just heard footsteps. Karen asked her to stay on the line, asked her not to hang up, asked her to describe what she could see. Nothing, Lauren said. It's dark. I turned off the lights. That was the first moment Karen felt something was wrong. Most callers want light, want noise, want reassurance. Lauren wanted invisibility. Karen typed quickly, adding notes to the system. Caller calm but fearful, no visible suspect, house silent. Then Lauren spoke again, softer this time. He stopped. Who stopped? Karen asked. The footsteps. Silence filled the line. Not static, not disconnection, just open air. Karen tried to keep Lauren engaged, asked her to describe her house. 1 story, 2 exits, bedroom at the end of the hallway, windows locked. She answered every question until she didn't. At 2:21 a.m., Lauren said something that made Karen's spine tighten. He's at my door. Karen asked her to stay calm, asked her to confirm if she could see the door handle. Another pause. Yes. Is it moving? She didn't answer immediately. Then came the sound. Not a scream, not a crash, just a soft exhale, the kind someone makes when they realize they were wrong about something important. After that, the line went quiet. Karen called her name. Lauren! Lauren, I need you to answer me. No response. Officers arrived at the house at 2:23 a.m. The front door was closed, no signs of forced entry. The lights were off, the house was silent. Inside, everything looked normal. Too normal. Lauren's phone was found on the bed, the call still connected, battery full. No blood, no struggle, no Lauren. The bedroom door was locked from the inside. That detail would haunt investigators for years, because people don't vanish from locked rooms, and 911 calls just don't.
By morning, Lauren Bishop's 911 call had already been copied, logged, and sealed. Audio files like that weren't meant for public ears. They were evidence, cold, technical, procedural. But to the people who heard it, the call felt anything but neutral.
Karen Doyle couldn't stop replaying it. She had been a dispatcher for 12 years. She had heard panic, rage, grief, and death. She had stayed on the line during overdoses, shootings, domestic violence calls that ended exactly the way everyone feared. But this was different. Because Lauren hadn't screamed, she hadn't begged, she had listened. Internal affairs required a routine review. Supervisors confirmed Karen followed protocol perfectly. Officers had been dispatched immediately. No delay, no error. On paper, everything worked. In reality, nothing did. Audio analysts were brought in within days. They slowed the recording down, isolated frequencies, removed background noise. What they found unsettled everyone involved. At the very beginning of the call, before Lauren ever spoke, there was a sound, barely audible, a soft click. Not a phone artifact, not static. It occurred before the dispatcher's greeting, as if something else had engaged the line first. No one could explain it. Then came the footsteps. Lauren had described them as quiet, slow, deliberate. On the recording, they were almost impossible to hear unless you knew exactly when to listen. A faint rhythm, uneven, not rushed. Whoever it was, they weren't afraid of being heard. The most disturbing detail came near the end of the call. Just before Lauren said, "He's at my door," there was a breath, not Lauren's, too deep, too controlled. It lasted less than a second, but once you heard it, you couldn't unhear it. Investigators argued over it for weeks. Some said it was audio pareidolia, the brain finding patterns in noise. Others insisted it was real, a presence close enough to the phone to be recorded, close enough to be listening. The locked bedroom door complicated everything. No fingerprints, no tool marks, no damage. The window was shut, the screen intact. The only other exit, a small bathroom window, was too small for an adult, which meant one of two things. Either Lauren had left the room willingly, or the room had never truly been locked. Neighbors were interviewed again. This time, questions weren't polite, they were specific. Had anyone noticed unfamiliar cars, a repair truck, a utility worker, anyone lingering too long? One neighbor mentioned something odd. A man had been seen walking the street earlier that evening, wearing reflective gear like a city employee, clipboard in hand, no marked vehicle. He had knocked on doors asking about water pressure issues. No one checked his credentials. Why would they? Lauren's house showed signs of something subtle. A kitchen chair slightly out of place, a glass in the sink that didn't belong to her. Nothing dramatic, nothing conclusive, just small inconsistencies that suggested someone had been there earlier, waiting. Dispatch records revealed something even more troubling. Lauren's call was not the only one that night. 2 hours earlier, another 911 call had come in from a town 30 miles away. Female caller, same whispering tone, same report of footsteps. That call disconnected abruptly before dispatch could get details. At the time, it was logged as a dropped call. Now, it looked like a pattern. Karen Doyle requested to be taken off night shifts. She started sleeping with the lights on. She avoided quiet rooms. When asked why, she said something that stayed off the record. It wasn't silence, it was listening. Weeks passed, media attention faded, no arrest was made. Lauren Bishop remained missing. But inside the department, no one believed the case was cold. Because whoever had been in that house knew something most intruders didn't. They knew how long police took to arrive. They knew how to stay quiet. And they knew the sound of a 911 call still connected.
3 months after Lauren Bishop vanished, the case file stopped moving publicly. Privately, it didn't. Detective Aaron Cole hated cold cases, not because they were unsolved, but because most of them weren't actually cold. They were just inconvenient. Evidence misfiled, leads ignored. People moved on. This one refused to move on. Cole focused on the door. Every report said the same thing, locked from the inside. No damage, no forced entry. But that conclusion relied on one assumption, that the lock was engaged the way people think locks work. It wasn't. A retired locksmith from Illinois State Police was brought in.
He didn't look at the door, he looked at the frame. And then he smiled, not because it was clever, but because it was simple. The latch plate screws were loose, not stripped, not broken, just loose enough to allow micro-movement. With the right pressure, the door could be closed in a way that felt locked without actually being secure. From the outside, a thin piece of plastic shaped just right could retract the latch silently. No damage, no marks. And when the door closed again, locked from the inside. Cole stared at the door for a long time. This wasn't improvisation. This was technique. That's when they revisited the utility worker. City records showed no scheduled maintenance that night, no water issues, no inspections, but the description mattered. Reflective vest, clipboard, calm demeanor. Someone who looked official. Someone people didn't question. Traffic cameras finally gave them a break. A white utility van passed through Lauren's street twice that evening. No plates visible, no company logo, just a clean vehicle designed not to be remembered. The van was never found, but the calls were. 6 weeks after Lauren disappeared, another 911 call came in, this time from Missouri. Same highway corridor, same tone, different ending. The caller stayed on the line long enough for dispatch to hear a voice in the background. Male, calm, close. He said one sentence, "You can hang up now." Then silence. Officers arrived in under 6 minutes. The house was empty, door locked, no sign of struggle. The woman was alive, hiding in a crawl space, shaking so badly she couldn't speak. She later described the man exactly the same way. Utility vest, clipboard, soft voice. She remembered one detail Laura never got to say. He knew her name. That changed everything. This wasn't a random predator. This was someone who researched, studied routines, understood response times, understood fear. The FBI profile was blunt. Highly organized, technically skilled, patient, likely employed in a role that provides access without suspicion. And then came the detail no one wanted to connect. Every call occurred within 5 miles of Highway 66. Same corridor, same timing, same silence at the end. Lauren Bishop wasn't the first. She was just the one who stayed on the line long enough to leave a record.
The killer didn't stop because he was afraid. He stopped because he was done. That was the FBI's conclusion after the final call came in, the one that didn't end in silence. It happened 14 months after Lauren Bishop vanished. Same corridor, same time window, different outcome. The call came from a payphone outside a closed gas station near Flagstaff, Arizona, a detail that immediately raised alarms. Nobody used payphones anymore. That meant intent, planning. The caller didn't whisper, didn't cry, didn't panic. He spoke clearly. "This is 911. I'm reporting a crime that already happened." Dispatch froze. He continued, "I've been inside your system longer than you think. I know how long you take. I know who you send." Then he hung up. No screaming, no struggle, no silence, just control. The location led police to an abandoned service road running parallel to Highway 66. Half a mile in, they found the van, burned, clean, no VIN, no fingerprints. But inside the ash, something survived. A melted phone. Not Lauren's, but one registered to a prepaid account used only for emergency calls. Data recovery pulled fragments, enough to confirm something terrifying. Every 911 call had been rehearsed, timed, measured. The pauses, the breathing, even the moment the line went dead. He wasn't panicking, he was listening, studying how operators reacted, learning when they leaned in, when they hesitated, when help was truly dispatched. The silence wasn't fear,
It was feedback. Investigators finally understood what the calls really were. They weren't pleased for help, they were auditions. Each victim was chosen not just for access, but for how well they would perform under pressure, how long they could stay on the line, how clearly fear translated through audio. Lauren stayed connected for 47 seconds after the first scream. That was the longest. That's why her call became evidence. The FBI believes the killer stopped because he reached his limit, not emotionally, operationally. The final call wasn't a slip, it was a farewell, a way of saying, "You never caught me." No arrests were ever made, no suspect officially named, but one thing changed forever: 911 dispatch training. Operators are now taught to treat silence differently, not as a dropped call, but as a possible end state. Units are dispatched faster, lines are traced sooner, authority disguises are flagged, all because of a voice that vanished mid-sentence. Lauren Bishop's family never got answers, but they got something else: the truth. Her call didn't fail, it worked, because silence didn't mean the end. It meant someone was listening.
Thanks for listening. If you want more cases from my old files, like the video and subscribe. There's plenty left in the casebook.